him with that flavor.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got... Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AhmadiyahShakur show. Also, thanks to those of you tuned in on the Queen AhmadiyahShakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen AhmadiyahShakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. If you're mad or you came here to troll, just make sure you stop trolling and unsubscribe from the Queen, okay? Don't come here whining and crying about something that I said or whatever, because I really don't care. All right, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, on TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Hello, Nicole Anderson, Mr. Hotel, Reggie. Okay, Juju said if Whoopi don't sit down somewhere. Hey, Desmond, Shantae. All right, Justice Guru in the house, Reggie. Okay, RGK. Wavy though is in the house. Muslim Geechee. All right, Tanaya is here. Okay, so let's get into it. Byron B, Nessie X. All right, Nicole, I see you, beloved. Okay, shouts out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get into it. Hey, Silent D. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Let me tell you all something. Hold on. 1619 Brood in the house. Claudette Alice is here. Okay, let's get into it. So before I get started on commentary, you all know that I have a segment that I sometimes do called the Queen's Jesters, right? When somebody leaves me the most idiotic comments, and y'all know that it's usually a Bussy-Rican, and I like to bring those comments to light. So that's what I'm going to do before I get started with commentary. I just want y'all to pay attention. And so clearly, some Bussy-Rican was upset by what I posted, what I retweeted, shall I say. Okay, so here's what I retweeted. This is what Marcel for Congress said to Brother Rizza Islam. He said, why is the Nation of Islam in Colorado not, and pay attention, he put not in all caps, he was clearly pressed, not helping the Black farmers being terrorized? Like, why? I do not know how this works, but can you give any input into this? Honey, I know Marcel did not try to come for Rizza after he was in a whole Twitter space just weeks ago with that Italian or Latino, whoever he was a Caucasian who was talking greasy about Pan-Africanness Pan-Africanists who are black, by the way, no matter what country of origin. But he was allowed that man to talk real greasy about them. But now he's sitting up here trying to feign concern for the Colorado ranchers and then talking about what the NOI is not doing. He needs to sit down somewhere. I told y'all he was shady. But let me continue, because here's what RZA responded and said. RZA said, "We have been assisting from early on. Word of advice, do not address me nor anyone with assumption. I don't do this political internet sensationalism. Okay? We are real people, brother. Just because you may not know what is happening doesn't mean that nothing is happening. Again, never assume." Well, I absolutely love it. RZA set him down real quick, as he should have set him down real quick. Okay, don't go there, Marcel. All right. Why would he think that the Nation of Islam is in Colorado except for to help those people? That's why they're there. Pay attention. Is he crazy or what? But anyway, like I said, I retweeted that. And so someone left me a comment, a Bussy Rican, and this is what they said. Said, at this point, you just grasping for straws. Get off Twitter and YouTube and go get some fresh air, love. To which I replied, I beg your pardon. How am I grasping at straws, beloved? If I am, why are you so concerned? Lastly, why don't you just stay off of my Twitter and YouTube if you're that mad? Because whatever I do has no impact on your existence, nor did I ask for your opinion. Peace and blessings. So after I said that, of course, he had to come back and try to engage in a back and forth, but that's never going to work because I'm always going to get the last word and the best word. Pay attention. So then he comes back and says, stop pretending like you didn't attend the FBA conference back in 2020. I seen a pic of you booed up with Tyreek. I have no issues pulling up the receipts. He didn't say the queen was booed up with Bussy Rick, did he? Police, honey. Okay, I find that all so insulting and quite frankly nefarious. But anyway, I want y'all to pay attention, because that second reply, what did that have to do with what I said? What did that have to do? Stop acting like you didn't go to the FBA conference in 2020. I didn't say anything about the FBA conference. Do you see how they gaslight and deflect? You see how they gaslight and deflect, but hold on. He said he didn't have any problem pulling the receipts. I pulled the receipts for him. Here's my next reply. I said, I just showed those pictures on my live a couple of months ago, specifically because lying ass Bussy Reek says he doesn't know me. I have always admitted that I used to follow and support him. So you sound crazy. You minions could never drop receipts on the queen because I keep it 100. Okay, miss me with it. Didn't I show y'all those pictures just a few months ago when Bussy Reek was trying to act like he didn't know who I was? I also showed you not only the pictures that he took with me and Straight No Chasing with the queen and her husband at the conference, but I also showed you where he blocked me on Twitter. But he doesn't know me. How do you block someone you don't know? So to this fool, I told him, I said, thanks for confirming that he does know me, because I'm going to use your very comment to prove that he's nothing more than a pathological liar. Okay, after that, he didn't have anything else to say, which I knew he wouldn't. These people are so silly. I just want y'all to pay attention how the Bussy Rikians, they never come at me or anyone else like Taharka or Brandon. They never come at any of us with any proof to dispute or debunk anything that we've said about Bussy Reek. All they do is try to launch these unfounded, foolish, nefarious, and childish and insidiously obtuse attacks. Okay, they try to talk about how you look, act as though you're stupid, or like they have something they can expose you on. Here's the news flash. You can't expose me, minions, because there's nothing to expose. You see, unlike some, I'm not a grifter nor a fraud. So anything that you think you can show, it's not going to mean anything to anyone. And that's just what it is. Okay? Sit down somewhere. Please. I have no problem pulling up receipts. Who does he think he is? I'm the queen of receipts. You think I'm going to let a fool like him drop receipts on me? I've already dropped those receipts. It's no secret that I used to follow Bussy Reek. I've said that numerous of times. I never lied about it. I have his DVDs. I went to his buck-breaking premiere. I went to the 2020 Foundational Black American Conference and all of that. I helped him get the lady from Ados, Yvette Carnell's friend, Bakari, whatever her name is, I helped him get her fired when she doxed him online. posting his tax problems, saying that he owed $169,000 to the to the IRS. He called her job. He said where her job was, posted it on Twitter, and I called her job the same day he did to get her fired. So that's when I used to follow Bussy Reek. Okay. I too drank the Kool-Aid once upon a time. The difference between me and the Bussy Ricans is that I eventually woke up, okay, and saw through the grip. I'm just saying. There's nothing wrong with being played for a fool, because we all get played by a fool once or twice. But the thing is when you have cognitive dissonance, is that when you have been played for a fool and someone shows you the receipts and evidence so that you no longer are played for a fool, you still continue to get played for one because you don't want to believe the receipts, even though they're right there in front of your face. Okay? That's a whole lot worse. Cognitive dissonance. All right? Commits me with it. All right. But anyway, let me continue, honey. Okay, so listen. Kamala Harris, I want y'all to pay attention. She had the nerve to say that Russia could humanity. Let's talk about it. This is what they say. Vice President Kamala Harris said Saturday, the U.S. has determined that Russia committed crimes against humanity in Ukraine during a speech in Munich in which she spoke of the need to stand up to authoritarian nations using brute force. Woo, honey. Isn't this the pot calling the kettle black? Now, she wants to say that the Russians used inhumane practices, crimes against humanity, for Ukraine. What do they do in this country to Black people? Specifically African Americans. What do they do to us? They don't commit crimes against humanity to us. What about all the people who lost their jobs because they didn't want to do certain things? And y'all know what I'm talking about. Please. Anyway, says in the case of Russia's actions in Ukraine, she says, we have examined the evidence. We know the legal standards, and there is no doubt these crimes are against humanity. The United States has formally determined that Russia has committed crimes against humanity. This is what she said. Harris also made clear in her remarks that the world must set the example with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discourage any other autocracies for trying to go down a similar path. This is what she says. This is what she said. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because I find this all very interesting. Miss Hotel said the beach got amnesia now. Well, apparently she does. So she says they need to stand up against Putin to discourage anyone else from trying it. Well, if Putin in fact did try it, don't you all think that he learned it from the divided snakes? See, here's the thing that I find interesting. You know, it's always the United States that wants to point the finger of blame and shame at other countries and talk about what's humane and what isn't humane. They love to do this when they are the most inhumane people of the bunch. Okay? Let's not forget what Hitler said. His treatment, okay, over there with the Jewish people, he said that he learned that from America for how they treated the Negroes here. So when they want to talk about inhumane acts, it is fair to say and safe to assume that most of these countries who engage in inhumane practices, in fact, learned much of it from the divided snakes. Okay? Much of it from the divided snakes. I'm sorry, it's true. So she needs to sit down somewhere. She really does. Goes on to say, no nation is safe in a world where one country can violate the sovereignty and territorial integrity of another, where crimes against humanity are committed with impunity, where a country with imperialist ambitions goes unchecked. Harris also appeared to make a veiled reference to China and the threat of retaking Taiwan by force. Okay, I find this all very interesting, because here's the thing. They've talked about China before. Until they can explain to us, citizens of the United States, why they sent $40 billion plus over to Ukraine, but they cannot do anything about the homeless problem here in the divided snakes, why they can't do anything about the homeless veterans, who many of them need mental health treatment, and they can't get anything done about that. Until they can answer those questions and tell us why they can't give Black Americans the reparations that we are in fact owed, okay? until they can explain those things logically, answer to those things as to why the police are allowed to continuously have qualified immunity and they can go out here and delete people, specifically Black folk, without so much as having any proof that the person did anything that was detrimental. They can simply say they fear for their lives, even if the person is unarmed and they have backup, they have batons, they have tasers, they have handcuffs, they have guns, and they have all of that. But someone unarmed frightens them so much so they have to delete this person by shooting them numerous of times. Until they can say something about that makes sense and they can explain why this continues to happen logically, okay, at least try to put a stop to it. Why should we listen to them? And who are they to try to point the finger and say anyone else, any other country, period, I don't care who the leader is inhumane? Makes no sense, none whatsoever. So goes on to say, we have remained strong and we must stay strong, because if Putin were to succeed with his attack on these fundamental principles, other nations could feel emboldened to follow his violent example. Other nations like the U.S., who doesn't follow the example, but they in fact lead it. Okay, other authoritarian powers could seek to bend the world to their will through coercion, disinformation, and even brute force. I mean, if this isn't the epitome of contradictory and hypocritical actions. So you mean to tell me the U.S. doesn't use coercion, doesn't give disinformation, and even brute force? That's absolutely what they do. Look at all the people they censored, even doctors, virologists, epidemiologists, scientists, and all of that, politicians. They censored many people because they wanted their own narrative to be pushed. I would call that disinformation, because they said some things were not true that actually were. And now they want to come back and backpedal and act like they're so surprised. Now, they also use coercion to get people to do things they didn't want to do, like that venom. Pay attention. So she's really talking crazy. Okay. Harris directly called out China in her remarks as well, criticizing them for deepening their relationship with Moscow since the start of the war. She says, looking ahead, any steps by China to provide lethal support to Russia would only reward aggression, continue the killing, and further undermine a rules-based order. This is what she warned. Harrison praised the bipartisan members of Congress present at the conference, noting that she had confidence that their support for Ukraine would continue. She also understood the strong global commitment to the fight in Ukraine, noting that while there were dark days ahead for the country, they would ultimately be victorious. She said, if Putin thinks he can wait us out, he is sadly and badly mistaken. Time is not on his side. To be sure, Ukrainians will continue to be tried and tested just as they have been over this past year. Transatlantic unity will continue to be tried and tested, and I am certain that Ukraine will rise to the task, that the United States and Europe will rise to the task as well. Kabama, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. And do you all know something? This is what's funny. Some idiot on Twitter was trying to argue with me about whether or not she's Black. Okay? Some fool was trying to argue with me about whether or not she's Black. Now, we're going to get into that, because Don Lemon wasn't on CNN this morning. Okay? He's been ousted, according to reports. Now, they say that they're mad at him because of what he said about Nikki Haley. Are they really mad about what he said about Nikki Haley? Or what are they really mad about what he said about Kabami, aka Kamala Harris? Let's get into it, because this very video that I'm about to show you is the reason some fool was arguing with me about whether or not Kabami is Black. She's not Black. And then they said, but doesn't she look Black? Well, many things may look like something, but that doesn't mean that's what they are. It's what a person identifies as. Okay, what they call themselves. And she doesn't call herself Black nor African American. All right, pay attention.
She's a mixed race woman. When you see her Blackness, but she is also South Asian. Her mom is South Asian and her dad is Jamaican.
April, let me listen. Yes. More power to her. And I think it's great. That should be enough. listen, it is enough that she's a black woman.
We are not a monolith.
But no.
Exactly. But they did the same thing.
No. I think you're not hearing what people are saying. The people who are saying is she black enough, that's bull. That's BS. But to want a distinction to say, is she African American, or is she black, or is she whatever? There is nothing wrong with that. There is a difference between being African American and being black. Latino people are people of color, but they're not black. They're brown people.
She is a woman of color, but she is a black woman.
Okay, that's why I agree with that. I agree with that. But is she African American? No. But is she African American? There is a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is trying to take anything away from her.
Let's go down into her lineage.
I think you're falling into a trap of that. All she had to do was say, "I am black, but I'm not African American." That's it.
Don, I'm not falling in a trap. I'm not falling in. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not falling into a trap by that. When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica and all these other Caribbean islands. So she could indeed
Jamaica's
be
not America.
African American mixed with other races. But she is
Jamaica's not America.
But she is a black woman. She was born
did not
here.
Come out of Jim Crow.
Okay, well let's go into Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
Ted Cruz.
His father
this is
was
not
Cuban.
about Ted Cruz. You're changing the subject.
But you know what?
Now I want y'all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention. You see, what she did was called a sleight of hand trick. You see, she couldn't make her point that would directly dispute what Don was saying. She wasn't making sense, though she tried so desperately to make it make sense. She could not. And Don Lemon, in fact, did make it make sense, because his whole argument was based upon the premise that she may be a person of color. You can say that she's black, but she's not an African American. So she should have just said that. So when they're calling Kabami black, they're trying to say that she's African American, and we know that she is not. And even if her father is Jamaican and her mother is East Indian, at the end of the day, Jamaicans don't call themselves black. That's a term that's used by Negroes in the United States. Other people from different countries call themselves what they are. Jamaicans call themselves Jamaicans. Haitians call themselves Haitians, okay? Africans call themselves Nigerian, or wherever part of Africa they're from. The only people who call themselves black are African Americans, 9 times out of 10. And Kabami is not black, and she's not an African American, and nor does she identify as being so. Now, what she will do is, when it's time for her to get those votes from African Americans, she will sit up there and pander. She'll go to the movie theaters and take pictures in front of the Black Panther posters, holding a bowl of popcorn with her Howard University sweatshirt on. That's what she'll do. She'll waltz into a restaurant dancing to Cardi B and order fish with hot sauce. That's what she'll do. She'll put her hair in Bantu knots and try to show her edges to look like a sister girl. That's what she does. Just because she panders to us when she needs votes, that doesn't make her African American. Okay, doesn't make her black. Another thing is this. Let's not forget the words that she said herself when she was asked, was she going to do anything specifically for African American people? No, I'm not going to do anything specifically for African Americans. I think that pretty much summed it all up. Okay. I think that pretty much told us everything we need to know about Kabami. All right, please sit down somewhere, April Ryan, because you made a whole fool of yourself. You're doing too much plantation mammying and not enough politics. Sit down somewhere, or not enough journalism, shall I say. Okay, so now let's talk about this other debacle that Don Lemon caught himself in the midst of, where he made some comments about Nikki Haley, and everybody got all mad and been out of shape, I suppose. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg did agree with him, and we'll get to that in a second. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. It's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. So I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime, and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google
or whatever it is.
Okay. I'm sorry. She's not in her prime. But why did people get upset when Dawn said that? I just have so many questions. Why did people get all in their feelings? Hold on. Let's talk about it. Then I'm going to pull up this video of Whoopi saying basically the same exact thing. But they didn't seem like they were so pressed about what Whoopi said about her. That's why I don't think that's why they're really mad at Don. I think they're really upset about the stuff he said about Kabami. That's just my opinion. Hold on. Let me set this up so I can download this video. Wow. We talk about Kabami. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's the thing. Now let's read what this guy said. Gowdy. Okay, he said Don Lemon's profoundly stupid remark about Nikki Haley. Okay, so let's get into it. Because everybody's got so much to say. He's getting all kinds of backlash. I just want y'all to pay attention. I'm going to share my screen. Let me cue this real quick. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel or unsubscribe. If you do subscribe, click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see what they have to say about Don Lemon.
Lemon is facing backlash from both sides after saying presidential candidate Nikki Haley is, quote, past her prime at 51 years old. Liberal women's advocacy group Ultraviolet ripping into the anchor saying, quote, from athletes to politicians and even his co-anchors, Lemon has used his power and platform to consistently undermine and demean powerful women. CNN should immediately suspend Lemon from any future political coverage indefinitely. Former South Carolina congressman and host of Sunday Night in America, Trey Gowdy, joins us now. Trey, great to see you this morning. What do you make of this situation with Don Lemon?
Well, I actually think you're a little bit past your prime. Is there any way I could speak to Rachel this morning, or do I have to talk to you? I'll tell you what I think.
Something like that would happen. What is a prime? What is a prime? When is it? Okay.
Apparently, Ketanji Brown Jackson is older than Nikki Haley. He didn't say a word about her. Kamala Harris is older than Nikki Haley. It is one of the most profoundly stupid things that I have ever heard anyone say. It's gender bias. It's political bias. It's also stupid. The saving grace, Will, is that he said it on CNN's morning show, which means nobody heard it.
But it has been sort of the shot heard around the world since that time, Trey. And you make a great point of the selective. I think that's also in reference. I think that should also be applied to the outrage about the comment as well. There was, this has never been brought up in other circumstances when, say, the political party was swapped. He didn't make this statement, as you pointed out, for any number of liberal women have held very high positions, not just Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, here's the good news. Nikki Haley has seen it and heard it all before. She ran against 3 guys to be the governor of South Carolina. She is not going to be intimidated. I think it's just it is biased, but in every form it can manifest itself. It's also just, so patently stupid. You have to be 35 to run for the presidency. So if you're a woman and you age out of your prime at age 40, does that mean you just run for one term? Don Lemon is older than Nikki Haley. What does that say about him?
It's really, really great point. Let's touch on this, Trey. You got a new book out. Start, Stay.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention. First of all, he sounded crazy, okay, as far as I'm concerned. But I want y'all to pay attention to the fact that he compared Nikki Haley to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now, why did he bring up Ketanji Brown Jackson? Well, because she's black. That's why he brought her up. Why didn't he say Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why did he bring up somebody else? But he brought up Ketanji Brown Jackson because she's black. That's what he was basically saying, because he said this Karen was not in her prime, that she was past her prime. Now, that's supposed to be sexist. So there's nothing wrong with her saying that people that are going to be running for politics need to have cognitive testing done and all of that. I'm just saying. But hold on. Let's go to what Whoopi had to say about it, because they're not dragging Whoopi, last I checked.
Has failed us over and over and over again. It's time for a new generation of leadership.
You're not a new generation. You're 51. What are you talking about?
Compared to DC, that's a new generation.
Well, but it's not a new generation. She may be younger than most of those people, but her rhetoric is the same. She's saying the same BS, and I love the young kid, but you know what? The only way you're going to get younger people to run, dude, is if you're out there talking to people and saying run. Don't sit here and say we need it to look like us. We know that, but we're not going to vote for people who don't have our best interests at heart. Yeah. Okay?
Okay, now that's clearly crazy, all right? Like I said, they didn't say anything about what Whoopi said, honey. I think they really mad at Don because of what he said about Kabami not being African-American, okay? Because they want to pass her off as African-American so they will vote for her. That's all that is. Pay attention. But anyway, listen to this.
About half my audience is black under the age of 40. Now, the reason is because we go after that audience and we're talking to them in very street terms, if you will, very not big nomenclature, vocabularies. Mm-hmm. You know, we just keep everything very tight and simple.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that? Didn't he just call black people stupid? He just low-key called black people stupid. I just need y'all to pay attention. Y'all heard what he said, right? Let me play that again. Because he said they talk to black people in street terms. In street terms. So let me get this straight. He says they target black people under 40. That's their target audience. And they talk to them in street terms. So is he saying that all black people under 40 speak street? That's all I'm wondering.
About half my audience is black under the age of 40. Now, the reason is because we go after that audience and we're talking to them in very street terms, if you will, very not big nomenclature, vocabularies. Mm-hmm. You know, we just keep everything very tight and simple.
He said they keep everything very tight and simple for you Negroes. That's what he said about y'all. He said they keep everything very tight and simple and speak in street terms. Otis said that he speaks English. I do too. I don't speak street. I speak English. Okay, last I checked. 169 said, I would like to hear what he's using. First of all, I would like to hear him speak street. What street term? What is his definition of street terms? I have questions. And is he saying that black people are the only ones who speak street? Because that's what it sounds like. If he's saying that he targets black people under 40 and they speak to them very tightly and simple in street terms, is he saying that black people are the only ones that talk street? Because I'm sorry, but I've heard white people use Ebonics, if that's what he's referring to. I've heard other people, Mexicans, use Ebonics. I've heard Asians use Ebonics. I'm sorry, say what now? What is he talking about? Anyway, let me continue because I absolutely cannot. Y'all need to be paying attention to these people that just try to sit up there and try to go in on us low key, as if they're not really saying anything nefarious or offensive. Okay? Anyway. So this story really got under my skin. Now, I'm going to put the image of this poor child up on the screen in just a moment, but here's what happened. So a daycare baby brawl. That's what they called it. They say that an outraged Louisiana mother demands to know why her 19-month-old daughter came home mauled and covered with scratches after being attacked by a toddler aged 1. Now, they say the child had scratches all over her. The incident occurred at Angels Haven Daycare in the Holly Grove neighborhood of the city about a week ago. Mom, Siamande Ford, was so distressed that she is now determined to find out what really happened and has gone public in the hope of spurring a response from the daycare. So they didn't even give her any answers. I would have called the police. Somebody would have told me something. I'm sorry, honey. I would have called the police if I went to pick my child up and this is how her darn face looked. Let me show y'all this baby's face. This is beyond nefarious. If this had been my child, honey, the police would have been called and somebody would have been going to jail. Or I would have. Okay? Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Look at this. Now I want y'all to look at this poor child's face. This is absolutely inexcusable. But let me continue. And I'm going to leave her face on the screen while I read you this. So Harley Ford, who is 19 months old, went to a New Orleans daycare, but somehow ended up with red scratches all over her body within hours of being dropped off. This is crazy. The school has explained the remarks as having been the result of a tussle with another 1-year-old boy who also happens to attend the same school. Her mother is seeking answers following the attack. Now, they say to relive the horror, Ford told News 19, she said, I see Harley's face and it looks like she was mauled by a cat. So I start screaming, I'm crying, I drop my purse and I ask what happened. I took Harley and I'm just asking the school's director what happened. The director of the daycare told Ford that her daughter Harley had been involved in a tussle with a 1-year-old. Photographs of Harley show the youngster covered in scratch marks all over her face, including her cheeks and forehead. She even has 7 bites on her arm, a couple of bites on the other arm. She has pants on, but the 1-year-old has bitten clean through her pants on both legs. You could see the teeth marks. They're clear and visible. This is also nefarious. I'm going to show you all the rest of these darn bruises. This is I absolutely cannot. This is awful. So they say these children got into a tussle. Here's my question. Nicole said that must be a strong 1-year-old. Let me tell you something. First of all, where were the daycare providers? Where were the instructors? Where were the caregivers while this was all going on? This didn't happen in just a matter of a couple of minutes. Now, I'm going to show you all these scratches and everything that this poor child has. Bite marks and everything. This is beyond crazy. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. They didn't show a video, I don't think. Here's the pictures. That's one of them. You can see the scratches all over her face. Now, this is her mom. You look at her arms. Look at her little arms. And you see the bite marks. Now, this didn't happen so quickly. This took a while for this child to do. Look at her arms. I don't know about you all, and this is how she looked previous. I have questions. Did a 1-year-old actually do that? And if they did, where were the instructors? How did this all even occur without anyone noticing anything? And so anyway, Ford immediately rushed her daughter to the hospital so she could be checked over by doctors. Ford, who runs her own business, is now anxious about sending Harley back to the daycare. Honey, my child wouldn't. What anxious? There would be no question she wouldn't be going back. And in fact, I would be filing some type of charges against them. I would be suing them. All of that. Okay.
Now, it was hard enough for me to send my child to daycare because I'm a business owner. This is just crazy for this to be happening on her third day after something that I already fought myself with so much. The family has since filed a report with the New Orleans Police Department, with the Department of Children and Family Services, now investigating the matter. Well, good. That's what they should have done. They say the daycare's director has declined to comment on the issue when contacted by a local news channel in the area. I bet he did decline to answer. This is all so crazy. Terry says that daycare needs to be shut down. Yes. Well, you know what? At the very least, the people operating that day, working that day, they should be fired and replaced. Because how does this even happen? Was no one paying attention to these children? I mean, first of all, I'm sure the child wasn't just sitting there quietly while she was being scratched and mauled and bitten. She had to have been screaming to the top of her lungs. So how did no one not notice this? This seems to me like somebody let this happen on purpose. Okay, y'all need to pay attention. Some of these daycare workers are nefarious. Remember the video I showed you months ago back in October with the Karen who scared those poor little children when they were at daycare with a Halloween mask? She was trying to be low down, honey. She didn't think that was funny. Okay, she scared them while they're eating their food. One of them could have choked. I'm just telling you to pay attention to these things, because now, how do you explain that not only did no one see what happened, but no one heard the commotion? No one heard the child screaming and crying in pain and agony. It's all so crazy. All so crazy. But unfortunately, some people have to defend on daycares for their children. Anyway, let me continue. This is all so nefarious. So they say a Duval teacher says he was fired after Governor DeSantis called his viral empty bookshelf video a fake narrative. Well, I mean, DeSantis has been trying to ban all these books, has he not? Substitute teacher fired over video of empty bookshelf. DCPS says the video doesn't show the full story. So let's get into it. Let me cue this real quick. Okay, here we go. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. That's right, mommy. They were not watching those babies, clearly. That's what they weren't doing.
Former substitute teacher misrepresented the books available at a local middle school.
It says this now viral video of empty bookshelves at Mandarin Middle School's library caused a disruption and violated the school district's cell phone policy. District X reporter Joe McLean is live at the district's headquarters. And Joe, the school district says the video fails to tell the entire story.
Yeah, so to be clear, the district did pull books from shelves, but it says that video that the teacher posted seems to imply that all of those books were permanently banned from the district. Well, the district says in reality those shelves were only temporarily cleared as the district performs a state mandated review of more than 1.6 million different book titles. Now take a look at this video. This is a video the district posted saying it shows another angle of the same room. The district admitted that certain shelves were empty, but that out of context, the teacher's video portrayed a false impression of how the district was responding to new statewide restrictions on library and classroom material. The district has fewer than 60 certified media specialists to cover more than twice that many schools in the district, but says its media team is working on a method to streamline the review process to get books back on the shelves as quickly as possible. As of Friday, the district said it has been able to approve nearly 6,000 book titles for classroom use out of the more than 1.5 million titles. The teacher maintains that the district is missing the point of the video, which he said was meant to reveal to the public the effects of the statewide crackdown of media content that Governor DeSantis and his supporters don't approve of, under the guise, he says, of being all about pornography.
So, like, having their education interrupted, our way of handling is talking through it. But I had no way to make my kids understand, and I couldn't see when the school would have the ability to review an entire library in the middle of a school year. Like I said, this is an unfunded capital project. They implemented without actually having a databasing system.
Now, the district released a statement on the teacher's dismissal saying, quote, in discussion between the district and ESS regarding this individual's misrepresentation of the books available to students in the school's library and the disruption this misrepresentation has caused, it was determined that he had violated social media and cell phone policies of his employer. Therefore, ESS determined these policy violations made it necessary to part ways with this individual. Now, the district says it's at the mercy of the law, and it's also burdened by limited resources for a monumental and controversial task. Reporting live, I'm Joe McLean, Channel 4, the local station.
I want to point out that ESS is the group that hires substitutes. And Joe, we've also heard a lot about the Essential Voices collections being rejected by DCPS. What's that?
Well, yes, that's also something that the district made effort to clarify over the last week. It initially did reject that entire collection, but again, not permanently. DCPS ordered 1,300 new titles in 2021. Now, 180 of those were from the Essential Voices collection, a set of books meant to increase diversity in writers, topics, and viewpoints in classroom libraries, it says. The district says some were never sent back because they were never, some were sent back, that is, because they were never ordered. They were in the collection as substitutes. Now, 105 were reviewed by the district and put in classrooms last fall. 27 of the books are still awaiting state guidance to determine if they are or were age appropriate. And as of last week, DCPS says that all 27 have been reviewed and are assigned appropriate grade level. So clarification there on the Essential Voices collection.
Okay. So are we to understand, if I got this correctly, that they had porn books in the school? Didn't they say he removed some porn books? So let me get this straight. They have porn books in the school, but they're upset about critical race theory and the truth being taught of Black history. Is that what they're saying? I just want y'all to pay attention. I just want y'all to pay attention. These people are something else. I keep telling you all, homeschool your children, okay? Homeschool your children if you do nothing else. Because the devils are busy. Meanwhile, Karen attacked her attorney in the courtroom. So she was accused of decapitating her lover, and she attacked her attorney in the courtroom. She was furious. Okay, so let me share my screen so you all can see this. I gather she wasn't thrilled about the verdict, no less. She didn't cut this man's head off, but she wants to attack her attorney. Hold on. Here we go. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
The week of May 15 for the trial.
Stop it. Stop it. Rachel, call.
Taylor, relax, Taylor.
Really, stop. No, that's okay. We'll use it.
I have this whole area cleared.
Okay, slide back. Yep. All the way to the door.
Use your feet and just push back. There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
One more big one.
You're good. All right.
Now I want you all to pay attention to this bull crap. Pay attention to how they were referring to her by her first name. They're on a first name basis. Taylor, calm down. Y'all see that? Now, I'm quite sure if they had been you or me or you, we would have been, quite frankly, brutalized. Okay? I'm sorry. And they wouldn't have been referring to us by a first name basis. Okay? Isn't that something? Yeah, anyway, the audacity of some people. Gentleman rated said, what race was the other kid? Oh, that's a good question. Well, I don't know. They didn't say, but I'm sure we can all guess. Okay. I'm sure we can all guess. All right. I'm sure we can all guess. So anyway, Mr. Hotel said they probably would have tased us. Of course they would have. Listen, they did in fact tase the black attorney. Do you all remember that? I want y'all to pay attention. Do you all remember the black attorney that got tased in the courtroom that I reported on because he walked in there on his day off to turn in some paperwork for a client and he was wearing a dashiki? Y'all remember that? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here it is right here. Hold on. They just didn't believe I was an attorney. Yeah, this happened in 2020. Let's pull this right on up, because I know you all forgot about this. I'm talking about they brutalized this man. He was a whole attorney coming in there to file paperwork for his client. And because he wasn't wearing a suit and he simply had on a dashiki, this is what they did. So they say, hold on, I thought I had the video. Yeah, here's the video right here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. This is what they did to an attorney. I just want y'all to pay attention. This woman was a murderer, cold-blooded, chopped off the head of her lover. Okay? There's no audio. That's him walking in with his dashiki on.
No, you can't just step up and talk to the clerk. What are you here for? I'm an attorney. I'm an officer of the court. I'm here to talk to the clerk. Okay. That's what I'm here for. What are you here
to talk to the clerk.
About what case?
Not anyone.
Well, it's not social hour with the clerk. We got to figure out what you're doing here.
No, you can step out. Step out, sir.
How am I going to step out? I'm
Melville Roberts says
you cannot approach the clerk.
in Department 7.
Because that's the rules of the court. You see that? Do not approach the clerk.
Okay.
Okay, so step out and I can help you outside.
What? I don't need to talk to you.
You have to talk to me to approach the clerk.
Okay, well tell the clerk I'm going to talk to her.
Sir, step out.
For what?
Step out.
Why?
Just, no, come on, let's go.
So why are y'all putting your hands
Because
up?
you're not listening. Go.
Y'all don't have a problem.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Guarantee this. I'm here to talk to the clerk about my case.
Do you want to tell, so is it your case?
It's my client's case.
Okay, so what's your client's name?
I have the case number NSB 180-20365, and I'm here to talk to the clerk about it. You fucked up.
MSB?
I promise you fucked up.
MSB, sir.
180-20365.
203.
Put your hands on me, Barbie. I'm Deaf Barry.
How do you listen to the clerk? It's even on your case. How do you
Definitely coming after you. I promise you, with everything I have, everything I've learned in law school, I'm definitely back up.
Back up. Be threatening me. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Hear me? Don't tell me you're coming after me and you step up on me. You understand what I'm telling you? That's a threat. I got cuffs. You don't square off, clench your fist, tell them you're coming after me, and then step up to put the hit down on it, dude. Oops, servant. You done? You gonna go with the program, or you gonna keep resisting? You got my taser? Well, let's bring him to the cell.
No, you all heard that. You all heard that. And you saw the one walking out with his taser already in his hand. Did you all see that? He had the taser because the taser is yellow. You could see that he had the taser behind his back already out, ready to use it. Okay? That's what he went out there to do. And why did it take so many of them? Why did it take so many of them? They didn't like the fact that he was making threats, basically saying that he was going to get them in trouble. He was like, you're going to pay for this. You're going to get it for this. And so they got all mad and went out there, and that's what they did. They tasered him. But that lady who attacked her own attorney and the bailiff, they didn't do anything about that. Okay, just pay attention. They spoke to her on a first name basis. They give black people no respect. Doesn't matter what your title is, what credentials you have, you know, what position you hold. It doesn't matter. You're still just a regular old ninja to them. And that's just what it is. Pay attention, okay, to these wanton supremacists. And there's many of them in the police departments and the judicial system and the FBI and the CIA, okay? Pay attention. So with that all being said, it's absolutely a mess. This is what they do, like I told you all. So, Edward said nobody knew who he was. Right. How hard is that to find out? I'm quite sure that wasn't his first time coming to that courtroom. Okay. Why didn't they ask the judge or the clerk if they knew who he was? I don't know. But if you also pay attention, when he was out there talking to them and she asked what was the client's name, he said, I have the case number. And he gave the case number. You would think that would have been enough, but no. They wanted to escalate it, which is often the case with people that look like us. That's all I'm saying. So everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so already. Unsubscribe if you don't like the commentary. Be sure to click the notification bell, click the word all if you do subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, on TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay. Nicole said they knew, they just wanted to dehumanize him. Yes, I absolutely believe it. And here's the thing. When they see black people wearing dashikis, locks in your hair, afros, and things like that, at the end of the day, they take that as a militant black person. That's what they do. That's why they don't like you wearing your hair to work, to different jobs, especially corporate America. They don't like you wearing your hair in afros and twists and locks and things like that, because that comes off to them as a militant black person, a black person who will not conform. Now, they know he comes in there with suits on when he's working, but because it was his day off, he wore a dashiki, so they didn't like that. That's what it is. Pay attention. Too much black power. That's right, Reggie said black power bothers them. Yes, absolutely. Okay, that's exactly what it is. Make it all make sense. So everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. I wish you all love, peace, and light. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Amadeus.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Amadeus.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We
I'm
are
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the